Hello. All right, how's everybody doing?
Hello.
Hi.
I am again on my ride home, but I'm here.
It's all good. All good. Except that there we go. All right, there. Now I can see everybody. Awesome. Well, hi, everybody.
Hello.
And I'm all jerky, and I don't know why that is. I don't know. I got a new computer, and it's very, my Wi-Fi doesn't like my new computer. It's very laggy for some reason. So hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? Did anybody do this week's module? Feminine wounds?
I just had a chance to listen to it on my ride to work today.
And
I printed out the workbook at work and I looked at that a little bit. But yeah, this is going to be another hard week.
yes, I told you. I warn you guys, seriously. I warn you guys that there's a lot.
Yes. And I wanted to tell you, I loved your Tip Tuesday.
Oh, good.
I loved it. I missed it, so I was upset, but I watched the replay, I think 2 or 3 times.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, it really spoke to me because the day before, when you were on your live reading, I was, of course, feeling kind of anxious. But when I got on that live reading, it like quadrupled. And I felt very anxious, very scattered. And I actually started to cry. And I was like, this is very weird. Like, I'm not sad. I don't know what's going on. And then when we got off, I was fine. And when you read me, I actually thought, she's going to be like, what is your problem? You're a scattered mess. And you didn't. You said like something that, of course, spoke to me, that I had talked to my husband right before we got on the live. And I just think it was everybody's energy I was picking up on.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Which is a first.
Yeah. It really does. Hang on, I'm going to mute you for a second. Yeah, it really does. Like when you are empathic, and there's a reason why before I go live, I do my little circle of light before every single live. Because again, otherwise I end up being overwhelmed with everybody's emotions. And as it is, especially when I do your energy readings and stuff, like when that's during the second week of the month or whatever, and I'm open to it, but I can feel like people's anxiety. I can feel it. And it's on purpose, right? Because that during those sessions, it's like, no, I need to feel this so I can help you. But other times I'm like, yeah, nope, I don't need to feel it. I don't want it. So yeah, Jess, like really focusing on figuring out what speaks to you regarding psychic and energetic protection, and do it every single morning. I do it every morning. And before every session, anytime I go live, I sit and I bulk up my my little force field, because and it does work, right? Intention. Everything is about intention, especially when it comes to spirit and our energy. And so when we're intentional about setting boundaries, right, it does truly help. And it's really hard for kids sometimes, because I have a son who's empathic, and if I told him put up your force field, he would be like, you're insane, Mom, I don't know what you're talking about. And so, like I said in the live, I was like, I hide crystals in his backpack in the bottom, not like a lot, so he's not like weighed down, because Lord knows his backpack is heavy enough. But I do hide, there's tourmaline in there, and there's like there's an orange one that I can't remember what it's for it's for to help him, just like it repels bullies or something. And so I was like, yes. So I have each of those, and even though my daughter is less empathic, she is very sort of intuitive. And so same thing, it's like I keep them in their backpacks, and I put selenite wands over every single door in my house, so that when whoever walks in, that intention behind that crystal sitting there is to wash away any like negative emotions, any negative thoughts, anything that's just clung to their auric field. I'm just like, no, you don't need to bring that in here. I don't need you like Pigpen, right, with all the dust cloud. wandering into my house with all that negative energy. So yes, that's amazing. And Jess, I love the fact that you're also working with Paul the Venetian. And if you want to unmute, you can kind of share that, because I know that Natalie asked about how to figure out like who you're supposed to work with from an Ascended Master perspective. So Jess, how did you sort of tune in and figure out that that's who wanted to talk to you? And again, there we go.
Yeah, I was gonna talk to Natalie about it. It's kind of very odd to me. In the beginning, when I started doing guided meditations, I, of course, wanted to talk to my grandmother and my great aunts, and I would actually get frustrated when other ancestors would come, and I'd be like, I didn't really want to talk to you today, but I really tried to embrace that. And so then I was on a guided meditation with you, and I just kept on hearing Michael. And I was like, okay. And I went around, nobody knew any Michaels. And so then I was like, okay, we figured out Archangel Michael. And so kind of the same thing. I was on a guided meditation, a spiritual guide to find your spiritual guide. And as soon as I go in there on these meditations, I kind of hear the name, even before you get to the point to where we're going to meet and introduce. I hear the name. And so it was Paul and Paul. And again, we don't have any Pauls. And so when I started to look into it, I was like, this is wonderful, because this is exactly what I needed and kind of what I was asking for. And that he talks to creative people, I was like, that is wonderful, because I am one person that my whole life, I am very creative, but I was never looked upon as being a creative person or like an artist and different things like that. Mm-hmm. And so for him to come to me and be like, no, like you are, and kind of, I felt like he was acknowledging, like, yeah, like you are very creative, and, you know, like art should kind of be your pathway. And so I've been asking kind of for an outlet to be creative, but also somehow help people. And so I'm working with him to try and figure out what that may be.
So Spirit kind of just, you might want to look into art therapy.
Yes, my daughter's in art therapy now, and she had said to me, I think Brenda would help. And I had to laugh, because I was like, okay, her and I will be in there. And I've started journaling, and in my journals, I'm more, I do collages and like I draw, which is just kind of more my thing instead of writing.
Yeah, and that's okay. And that's the thing about, so automatic writing is, honestly, you can use automatic like art as well to create, right? For me, yes. I'd use writing, but there's also a whole thing about sort of intuitive creating like art, and just sort of like putting whatever onto paper or whatever method that you like to use to create with, and creating something that you understand that is meaningful for you, from an intuitive perspective. So yeah, I love that you're doing that.
Yeah, so I just started that, and that has really opened me up. I've always been one, even as a child, kind of when I'm dealing with things, to kind of just go inside myself and, you know, craft or do art or things like that, even as a small child. And so when my husband, he always kind of gets a little annoyed with me, because I will block everybody out and kind of go into my own little shell. And it'll take me a couple days, and it's usually when I'm creating where, you know, I kind of block everybody out, because I just have like this flow, and I don't want them to kind of like their energy to mess it up. Yeah.
Awesome. Good. Well, I can't wait to hear how this week goes for you.
Thank you.
So thank you for sharing. All right. So Miss Trish, you're up in my left-hand corner. So why don't you tell me how your week is? What's going on with you?
I kind of hit the wall again, actually. On Saturday, I spent a couple days in bed, just laid out, done. I feel like I had a big energy shift, and
I just got
released a
chilled.
lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm finding it hard to even have my eyes open right now. I'm still just low energy.
So that can also be the full moon, just FYI, because yesterday I was really like, and actually I still have a little bit of a headache. And I don't normally get headaches, and I had a headache yesterday and today. And in the middle of the day, I had to go lay down, and I don't nap. And I was so tired and just wasn't feeling well, and not in a I don't know, it wasn't like I was sick or anything. I was just like, what's wrong with me right now? And so in the middle of the day, I just parked my ass up in bed and laid there. And I don't, like I said, I'm not a big napper, but I laid there for a good hour, just like resting. And that's what my energy needed. I felt much better after I ate. And so whatever it is, like, again, when we up level, right, that expansion, you had a huge energetic burst, right? The week before or earlier this week, whatever it was, right? And then your body's like, okay, right? And then it's sort of almost like your energy body has to catch up, or your physical body has to catch up with the energy, whatever it is. But so it's okay. The fact that you allowed yourself to be like, I'm going to rest. Great. Sorry. And then I interrupted you. So keep going.
No, I didn't get very far on the module. I watched the video yesterday. This is going to be another big one. So, sorry, I'm totally out of it right now.
That's okay. It's okay. Again, give yourself grace and permission. It's all good. I'm not expecting everybody to be high vibe. Like I said yesterday, I did my Tip Tuesday, and because I need a deadline. I need, like, in order for me to, because and I know some of you guys took the human design thing. Like, I'm a manifesting generator, which means I get a ton of ideas and then I don't know what to do with them all. And then half of them don't ever get done, or like I start them and they don't get done. So I'm like, I have to set deadlines. So by posting the fact that I was like, I'm doing Tip Tuesday this day, forced me to actually go do it instead of just going, yeah, I should do that maybe next Tuesday. So I went live, but even though I didn't really necessarily feel like I wanted to go live, I did it anyways and was like, and then I was really exhausted and went to bed right afterwards, basically. So there you go. All right, Miss Natalie, how are you? There you go.
Unmute myself. Hello. I'm all right. I'm knackered as well again. I just seem to be like, blah. But I did have a lot on last week anyway with my my daughter's birthday and things around that and that sort of thing. So but yeah, I seem to have veered away from being able to kind of tap into anything in my meditations or anything. I just feel like I've drifted away. But I'm still going with it. And like, it was really useful with Jess then saying about how she, she heard the name of the spirit guide coming to her. Because then when I wrote that down, I said, I almost liken it to the, when you going for a spirit animal, you go out and then you open, you're looking for your spirit animal, and whoever turns up, whoever you need to be there turns up. Yeah. So I almost got the impression that that's probably what I need to do. Because I've got this one that keeps coming, like, it's called Simon. I've not looked up anything to do with a Simon or anything. I don't know if it's just my Joanne infatuation. I don't know, but I've not had anyone. I just can't seem to visualize. I can't seem to sense anything. So it's almost like I've gone backwards since I've started doing this. So
I would look at a couple things. First of all, I would look at and see if there's some beliefs and stuff that this is brought up to, like, the forefront, like why you think you can't do it, why you maybe are like, because again, if we have old religious indoctrination in our, like, this making us believe like it's not true, that it's sinful, any of that, like looking into seeing if there's any of that sits there. But also then, like, opening yourself up, because it feels like you're a little bit white knuckling the steering wheel right now too, and that you're trying, right? And there's no try, right? It's that Yoda.
I'm doing it.
Like, so instead of like saying,
but,
but it feels like you're limiting like how they're going to bring you the message. You're like, it's either going to come in, I'm either going to see it, right? And that's it. And then they're just like, well, what if you just know it? Or what if you feel it? And it's funny because I have an affirmation that is going to be posted out on my socials that is, I am an open and clear channel for spirit. I see all, I feel all, I know all, I hear all. And the reason I say that is because I want to be open to whatever intuitive method they want to bring it to me in whatever format they want to bring it to me in. Because again, I started out not being very visual. I would just know stuff. And so I would sit in meditation and not see anything. And I'd be like, this is dumb. Why am I sitting here and not seeing anything? Meanwhile, if I had just slowed down and listened to the thoughts that were rolling around in my head, once I shut down the fact that I was overthinking everything, and I was like, oh, I know where I'm going. can't necessarily see it at the time. Now I see it, right? Because I've been working on it. But just sort of, you have to kind of really allow to whatever's going to come up, because it feels like you're putting it in a box. You're like, my intuitive gift is seeing. And so if I don't see it, I'm not getting anything. And they're like,
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I think I'm just letting things happen, but maybe I am focusing on too much. Although I did, yesterday I went out to, not yesterday, it was when I went out in the garden, I think it was on Saturday. I went out into the garden, and then suddenly this feather came down, and it was basically we get quite a few pigeons out in the back garden, and it flew off just as I got into the back garden, and it left me a feather. And so I kind of saw that as a sign.
Yeah.
So I don't know what
find
it was,
feathers
but
all over the place. Like it's just,
don't get them very often, but
yep. But it's true, right? And it's sort of how you see it. And because I found this baby. I mean, it was so small, this tiny little feather, and it was sitting on my nightstand one day. And I was like, and I don't use feather pillows. Like I don't have feather like down anything. And it was so small. And I just was like, you are the cutest thing ever. I don't know where you came from, but thank you. And I like put it on my altar and was like, awesome. But like my mom came, so there was a hurricane that went through a few years ago in Florida. My mom came to live with me for a month while everything dried out and she could get back into her place, and they fixed whatever needed to be fixed. And my dad's passed on. And honestly, like I found more feathers in like the first week that she was with me. I mean, random, like laying on the floor, a bright orange feather. I was like, I don't even know where this orange feather, which is fake, came from. It was just so cool. So just trusting the fact that like whatever messages are going to come are going to come. And not to fear failure, right? Because it sort of feels like you're feeling like you're a failure, and you're not, right? It's okay. Right. And so allow whatever's going to happen. And so I had a person in my last class who could not meditate. Like she was just, and that was her block. Like this was a thought that she believed meditation doesn't work for me. So through the whole class, like I do my meditations during our lives, and I'd be like, Carol, what'd you see? And she'd be like, nothing. I was like, okay, it's fine. Right. And she used other methods to sort of tap into her intuition. But by the end, she was like, oh, yeah, that totally worked. I was like, okay, good. Right. So just, it's okay. Give yourself grace. And, eventually you'll be all right.
I think it's because I used to be, I'd sort of built it up from, was it Intuition Week last summer that Emily did, when I started doing it then, and I couldn't see anything, but come sort of like September and whatever, I was starting to visualize things a bit more. But as I said, I think it's almost, I don't know if it is because I'm putting pressure on, because I'm doing this course and this is what's happening at the moment, and I know it's to go into the future and what have you, but it's almost probably I'm listening to thoughts that say no, this isn't working or something. I don't know, but I'll journal on it. I'll have a think about what it is, why is it, am I forcing it? Maybe I am. I'll have a think.
Well, and not only that, you might want to clear out whatever the spaces that you normally meditate in. So like cleaning up, saging it, like really sort of, and setting the intention of it being a sacred space for you, wherever that is. And even if it's just a little corner in your house, right? And just clearing it out and being like, I'm clearing all the negative space, all the negative energy, anything that's holding me back, I'm releasing it. This is my sacred area. This is my sacred space. And whenever I'm here, right, it's setting that stage for your intuition going, when I sit here, I'm open. Right? I'm open, it's sacred, it's safe, it's all good. So making sure that you're setting that space and really making it yours and making it special almost, right? And I know that during these lives, right, we all are kind of like in wherever we are at the moment, but you can always watch the replay somewhere else, right? And you could do the meditation somewhere else. And if you guys haven't already added, like you can add Member Vault, like just onto your phone as a link, and it will like open. So if you just, you can add it to you can add it as a, so you can, it doesn't have its own app, but you can sort of by saving it to your phone as just a link onto your homepage or whatever.
What have I got? Right in the middle, radiant, right in the middle.
Oh yeah, so exactly right there. And then you can tap into it and it works, right?
Just takes me straight to there. Yeah.
Look at that. So yeah, you can do it anyway. You can do all of the things.
May I add something for Natalie?
You may.
In the beginning, when you were talking, you said that Simon's coming up for you.
That was ages ago. That was a while ago. Not in the last. But that, if I ever had a guide that came up for me, and his name would be Simon, come up straight away.
And now he's not coming up. Is that?
Nothing's coming up.
Oh, okay. The one thing I heard from you is like maybe, like Michelle saying, is trust it, because I know when I started seeing other spirit guides, when Michael came, I was like, I don't know who this is. Like, and I thought maybe.
Jess, you're breaking up. I think we just lost you. All right. Well,
maybe it's my imagination. Maybe, you know, maybe I'm talking about somebody, Michael, and I don't even know if I heard it, but just like.
awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. So yeah, so just, you know, see what happens. But they're, for whatever reason, they're saying, one, you need to kind of trust, not be so controlling about how it shows up, and then clean your space. Okay. Miss Colleen, how are you? Look at your hair is all down. Look how gorgeous you look.
It's down because I have a headache.
Oh, I can feel it.
Great. Great.
Yes, thank you for that.
It is down because I have a headache. Sorry.
Okay.
It's starting to go away. I've had it all day. Yeah, no, I did. I listened last night to the module. Haven't done much. I feel the same as everyone else is saying. So tired. Saturdays, literally sat on a couch with a heating pad. A little bit of an injury from lifting someone at work, but I just, oh my God. And I don't know, just like weird energy. It's weird energy. But I set up a Reiki. I have Reiki Friday night. And then I actually have my first class on it Sunday afternoon. So I'm so excited.
That's going to be great. That's going to be really good for you. Yes.
I'm excited. So
awesome. Yeah. And Reiki is a really cool modality just to know, like in general, because that's where I started with Reiki and then moved on into angelic Reiki and then where I am now. But it really does. It's fascinating. Like I helped my dog was like dying for probably 2 years, and I helped like his pain, like you name it. I would sit on the couch and just send him Reiki while I was watching TV. And I think I helped him live like an extra 2 years, honestly. Like I was like, all right, let's just help this like go away. And same, my kids had fevers. I would be like, I'd send them Reiki and their fever would go down. I love Reiki. So it's a really powerful tool. And when I couldn't sleep, I would Reiki myself, like all these things. Anyways, so good.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it'll be great. Okay, so as you guys know, so this week was all about the divine feminine, as well as sort of what it means when we combine, because we're both yin and yang. We all have divine feminine and divine masculine within us. And it's really about how we kind of merge them together to be in balance. And really letting go of some of the beliefs and shit that we carry around with us that is, and this is why divine feminine comes after ancestral wounds, inner child wounds, because feminine wounds come from all of those places, right? Feminine wounds come from society, our childhood, and then the ancestral beliefs that we all wander around carrying with us. Because again, I feel like I say this on every single live, is because our ancestors didn't have the same opportunities that we did as women. So they often put these beliefs around what we're allowed to do, what we can do, how we can show up, what we're allowed to say, what we're supposed to do, whether we're supposed to sit with our knees together and what forks and that we're always like the ones that are supposed to be, even the roles that we have in our family, right, has been defined for us. There's a reason why most women are the caregivers, why we're the ones that were injured the most during COVID, because we were the ones that were expected to stay at home with our children when the pandemic hit and our kids had to stay home from school. And it was like, and women would just be like, I guess I'm going to give up my job. Like I worked from home. So thankfully I didn't have to do that. But there were a lot of women that had to give up their jobs in order to be able to stay home with their children because of the pandemic, right? And some fathers maybe did, but honestly, I think I saw a statistic that said like 55% of women of the work, I should say 55% of the workforce that were affected most by the pandemic were women, versus the last recession that we had probably like 20 years ago, that it was 30% that it was affected by women. So just so needless to say though, that my point with that is we have all these expectations that not only do we have for ourselves, because they've been placed there from a lot of different places, a lot of different history and situations, but even how we show up from in our relationship with our partners and what's expected. I mean, how many of you guys still do sort of the traditional, I'm in charge of laundry, I'm in charge of cleaning, and my spouse or partner maybe is in charge of mowing the lawn, fixing the car, right? Or whatever. I'm in charge of making sure that my children go to the doctor's appointments or whatever. And like, they wouldn't even know how to set up a doctor's appointment if it saved their life, right? But again, these are roles that we're sort of placed into and boxes that we've been placed into our whole lives. And it's sort of what's expected. And as we work through trying to get out of this sort of patriarchal society, and where we're like, yeah, no, we're worth more than that. And you need to like vacuum too. But it's hard because again, even men, I didn't touch on it too much because most of my students are actually all of the moment my students are women, but men have their own set of like beliefs and bullshit stuff that they carry around too. Like they feel like they have to carry, like they have to be the breadwinner. They have all this pressure and then they feel emasculated when they lose their job and they have to resort to their wife making more money than them. Right. So there's they have their own shit, but we're not going to get into a whole bunch of their stuff. But, and then even when I was a child, because I'm the only girl on both sides of my family. So I have 2 brothers and then I have male cousins on both sides of my family, no girls. So my mom didn't really know what to do with me. My aunts didn't know what to do with me. And they were like, well, you should really go inside and like help your mom go cook dinner or go cook Thanksgiving. And I was like, why would I do that? Like, I want to go hang out with the boys out back and play football or soccer or whatever it was, right? And so I chose to do that, but I also knew that by choosing to do that, I had to limit my feminine expression. I couldn't cry if I fell down or got hurt, because then they go, no, none of this crying, right? There's no crying in baseball. Get out. We're done. We're not doing that. So I suppressed my emotions my whole life until I met my ex-spouse, to be honest. Like I didn't cry at movies. I didn't cry at anything because I was like, no, I'm a mask. I'm strong. I'm powerful. I can, well, not only that, but I also felt like I had to compete with them. I had to be the stronger, like I can kick your ass. Watch me, right? Which not in so much a physical form, but like I would take it as a thing of pride when I would beat someone at bowling or darts or billiards because they're just like, you're a girl, you can't do this. And I'm like, watch me. And I would take that as a challenge. But again, it was kind of dumb because it was like, who cares? But that's sort of where I got my competitive nature. But I also, because I grew up around men, like I watched football. I know a lot about sports. I know a lot about a lot of things. And so, I hung out with boys and men. Most of my high school and college, I was always the friend, never the girlfriend. And the girlfriends would get jealous of me. And they're like, why are you hanging out with Michelle? And they're like, because she watches football and drinks beer. She knows what we're talking about when we're talking about hockey, right? And not that I love hockey, I love football, but I don't love a lot of other sports, but I would watch them because it was like, I got to hang out with the people that got me. Even as my daughter's growing up, I keep sort of sharing with her, I'm like, girls are kind of petty bitches, like hang out with the boys. Just trust me, like they're easier to deal with in their teenage years. Like just make friends with boys and you'll have a much easier experience in high school than, So I'm curious. And so, like I said, I suppressed my feminine side and I still am definitely show up sort of more in that masculine space from how I dress and how I talk. And I'm embracing more and more of my femininity as well. as I get older, and I'm just sort of now incorporating them all into a package and understanding how they need to be in balance. But it took me a long time to get there. So I'm kind of curious, like, how do you guys show up? Do you feel like you live more in your masculine or feminine side? And again, there's no wrong answer. It's perfect however it is. I'm just curious how you feel like you show up in the world. Anyone? And I know Colleen just had a client, so I'm guessing there she is. So yes, Trish.
I feel that I'm more in my masculine. My upbringing probably very similar to what you just said. I'm always hanging out with the guys. I always had guy friends. I wanted to play hockey when I was, you know, all that stuff. So no, and then yeah, even in my life now, I feel that side comes over.
Yeah, and that's okay, because again, and this is why, like, during all of my meditations, and every time I clear or do any kind of sort of chakra clearing, it's always like, you're perfect the way you are, right? You're perfectly masculine and feminine exactly as you are. And depending on, you know, your sexual orientation, like how you show, like, it doesn't matter. It's perfect the way it is. So really embracing that fact, right, that you're perfect the way you are, is really key, because we often beat ourselves up like, oh, I don't wear enough makeup, or right. So Trish, I had a session with Toby, is that her name? I think it's Toby.
Yes.
And you know, and she was just like, oh, you just need a little more makeup and all this stuff. Because I told her, I was like, listen, I wear mascara, and if you're lucky, lipstick, and that's the extent of my makeup routine, because that's just not who I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, so she was trying to give me some tips, and I was like, okay, thanks. But the point is that, like, society tells us, well, you're supposed to wear high heels, and you're supposed to be skinny, and you're supposed to have whatever you're supposed to do with your hair and all this stuff. And now with social media, it's like, okay, well, now it's like fake lashes, and there's YouTube channels on how to do makeup and all this stuff. And it's like the pressure is so overwhelming sometimes for especially younger, as girls grow up. It's like how we see ourselves and what society tells us that we're supposed to look like. And putting those bags down is one, it's freeing, but it's sometimes a little bit messy. Did you want to say something, Natalie?
Did I want to say something? Yeah, I was a bit confused really as to whether it's more masculine or feminine. I really don't know. I genuinely don't know. I guess I'm a bit confused. Oops.
Maybe you're just in balance.
Possibly, yeah. Sorry, I've gone. My laptop was about to crash out on me then. But I mean, I definitely feel I'm a more empowered feminine now. Definitely. There's still ways to go. There's definitely a place to go there. But yeah. When I was sort of looking at the wound, you know, all the different, there's like that one, you know, we're trying to work out wow, and I just thought I'm a mixture of everything, really. But definitely moving more towards empowered feminine now, because just being who I am, and you know, realized how much of my life has been that's impacted by people saying stuff, how a woman should be and how a man should be, and all loads and loads of it, which I didn't realize until you that like that week, a few weeks ago, whenever it was, in your challenge week thing. So yeah, it's opened eyes. So I definitely want to make some more time on this, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like the thing too, right? It's just, we get it from all fronts, it feels like. And same though, as far as stepping more fully into my divine feminine or my feminine space, as well as being empowering my daughter, right? But I'm also trying to get her to embrace some of the masculine side of, you don't get anything if you don't ask for it. If you sit and be like in the passive, which right? If you sit in that passive space of receipt, right? Because it's sort of the yin is all about receiving and sort of going with the flow, and whereas masculine's more of the yang, the doing, right? The taking action. But I was like, you need to sort of step up and take some action if you're going to get what you want, right? So that's why it's really important that you have a balance, because you want to give, but you also want to receive in all the different ways and forms that you can have it. You were going to say something, yes?
Yeah, it was something that because it's my daughter's birthday at the weekend, and I'd been asking about, because she has autism and has a lot of sensory issues as well. And with that, I wanted to do like a cozy corner for her in her bedroom. And so I thought, you know what, I'm actually going to ask if anyone's got anything that they you know, that they're going to give to a charity shop maybe, and, you know, basically donations. I was always looking for. And I thought, before I wouldn't necessarily have asked for stuff like that. I'd be thought I was a bit cheeky or whatever. So I just put it out there. And I had quite a lot of things come to me. Somebody offered to buy me something, which was like £60. They wanted to give it to me as a gift for my daughter. It was like a tent that she goes in, and it's all like completely dark and what have you. There was other things that I've just been getting. And so that's definitely a big change. I thought I'd add that as well. You know, it's almost like I'm opening up to receiving, which is big, because my mum always taught me that it's cheeky to ask. You know, even to the point of cheeky to ask to go to the toilet in somebody's house. And, you know, that was what I grew up with. And I used to obviously wet myself because I was too scared to ask to go to the toilet. But it was always like, it's too cheeky to ask for things. Whereas I've just noticed it's coming in different angles. So Spirit's
just reminding you that if you do get donations from people, make sure that you clear it. You sage it before you place it in there, because they're saying that your daughter is also very empathic, and so just you just want to make sure it's clear of any other free of any energy that's not hers when you put it in her space. So just not so much new things like but just again similar to cleansing your space, like cleanse her space, cleanse the objects that come into your home from other people, because just objects contain negative energy. Like there's people who are I can literally never remember the name of the intuitive gift that people can read objects, cart something or other. Anyways, but so it's like people who can't go into antique stores because they're just like, I feel the energy on every single piece of furniture, antiques, like they're just like, no, right? So just be aware that you should do that before you bring stuff in to your daughters. And again, it's not necessarily everyone that you have to do this, but for your daughter's stuff, especially, it's going to make her feel more comfortable, because she's not going to be like, I don't like this teddy bear. I don't like this. Right. And so anyways.
Because she used to sleep in this room when I first moved here last summer, but then she didn't want to be in here at all. She used to sleep in my room rather than being in here on her own. So we had to move things around. So she's in a completely different room now. So I think she was probably picking up on energy where Popsy used to sleep here or whatever. I don't know. It's a rented house. So
Yes.
Well, yes,
Clear.
definitely. But thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm off to town tomorrow to get some.
Well, and if sage is not like, because some people are very sensitive to sage, like there's some people that are allergic and stuff, like you can actually use bells or other things to clear the space as well. So just know that if that's not something that, like, and here's the thing too, is that make sure you crack the window a little and let it out, and it'll make the smell go way faster too. So, okay. Does anybody else want to share anything before we go into a little bit of a meditation? Anyone? No?
I'll share.
Go ahead.
I feel like, I don't know, maybe you'll say it is an imbalance, but I feel like I kind of shift back and forth. And so growing up, as you know, I 3 girls, I was the youngest of 3 girls, and my mother always wanted a boy. So I feel like growing up, I was a tomboy. And I don't know if that was me or again, just me trying to please her. I think it was just me trying to please. And I was always really hippy dippy, wear like tie-dyed or like tent dresses. So I feel like until I met my husband, and my husband was kind of like, damn, you're sexy. I want you to wear something that kind of shows you off a little bit. And not in a weird way. Like I was always just kind of like t-shirts, like dresses. And so when I met him, then I was kind of like, well, okay, I'm sexy. All right, I believe it now. And so him and I, of course, did traditional roles. I was the housewife and I took care of the kids for 20 years. And he went out and he provided. And then just now I feel like our roles have switched because he was in a car accident. And so he has been off work for about a year now. And he is doing all of the things that I did, and I am back at work part-time. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of what he did, not as much, but he is embracing full stay-at-home dad mode as best as he can.
But you know, that's really good for him too, because he probably didn't believe that he could do that for a long time, right? That he had to be the breadwinner. And so allowing him to sort of experience that other side of him, right? He may be like, oh my God, I really enjoy doing this. And I didn't give myself permission to do that until now when I was forced to.
If anything, it brings an appreciation for what I did for 20 years. That's how I feel. Because like today, he's taking my daughter to the doctor and he's texting me and she's texting me and I'm like, oh my goodness, you too. Like, it's okay. It's a doctor's appointment. Like, just flow with it. It'll be okay. But I feel like he understands more like, oh my goodness, maybe not physical, but this role is very mental and very exhausting.
Well, and when I first got divorced, I had some friends that had gone over to my ex's house for dinner, something like maybe a month or a couple weeks after we got divorced and I moved out. And he had told them, he was like, oh, I didn't realize how hard like this was, like how much she did actually. I didn't realize how much she did until she left. And I was like, yeah. So yeah, there we go. All right. So if everybody wants to go on mute. And okay, there we go. All right. All right, we'll get started. So our meditation, we're going to go down. We're going to kind of, and I love magic mirrors. In case you didn't, whenever you listen to my meditations, I always have either bonfires or like water, but things burning. Like it's because here's the thing, right? The visualization and that imagery really does sort of help our subconscious to really like embrace the change of all the stuff. So we're going to go down into a meditation. We're going to go and we're going to see ourselves as we are. We're going to see our divine feminine. We're going to see our divine masculine. We're going to release all the crap that's not serving us and come back. Does that work for everybody? And if it doesn't, too bad. That's what spirit, like I always channel my meditations. So even though this might be similar to something that you've already listened to on my meditation vault, it's always just a little bit different. So yeah, so I literally like just channeled it about an hour ago. So here we go. So if anyone wants to get comfortable, you can turn your camera off if you feel like it. It's all good. I just want you to take a nice couple deep breaths. Just let go of the day. Let go of any expectations, any worry, any stress, anxiety. Just be here now in your body, fully present, allowing whatever information needs to come in whatever form it needs to come in. And I call in my divine guides, angels, light beings, loved ones above, to come and bring me the information that I need today for my very highest and greatest good in order to move forward in my most balanced and harmonious energetic form, helping me to incorporate my divine feminine and divine masculine into full balance and harmony that's exactly right for me at this time. My iridescent spirit is surrounded by a blue shield of light that protects me and allows only that information and energy for my very highest and greatest good to come through. I radiate out only joy, love, peace, kindness, understanding, compassion, kindness, grace, self-love, and confidence. I gratefully and joyfully accept all messages that you have for me today, this day, and every day, in all ways. And I open up my crown chakra and third eye, allowing this beautiful divine crystalline light to open me up, opening up my intuitive gifts. I hear all, I see all, I feel all, I know all. I am a divine connection with spirit. I am an open and clear communicator with my intuition and the spirit guides and the keepers of light. I am open now for your messages and know I am safe in receiving them now. I want you to visualize beautiful staircase that has 5 steps. And each of these steps you're going to go down, just get even more and more comfortable and relaxed, allowing us to get fully into meditation, releasing our stress and worry of the day, just being open to whatever information our highest selves, our spirit guides, keepers of light may have for us today. 1, we take our first step down, allowing the stress of the day to be washed away. Allowing our minds to just be clear, releasing all stress and strain on our shoulders, and our eyes are heavy and relaxed. And 2, we take that next step down these stairs, just getting more comfortable in our chair. Our arms feel heavy and relaxed. And our fingers are heavy and weighty. 3, we take another step down, feeling our legs and torso melting into the chair even more, being more relaxed, more comfortable. 4, our feet feel heavy, our body is warm and comfortable. And 5, we take that last step down, feeling completely at ease, completely relaxed, and open to whatever messages Spirit has for us today. And I want you to walk through this beautiful gate and into this garden oasis that's filled with beautiful, lush greenery and flowers, a beautiful and luxurious pool of iridescent water. And it's bathed by the light of the full moon. And you can smell the flowers and the fragrant vine. And you can hear the crickets in the distance. And you can see how inviting that pool of warm water looks. And as you make your way into this beautiful garden, you notice a beautiful, magical mirror surrounded by a gold frame. I want you to walk up to this mirror and gaze and see yourself right now. What do you look like right now? What does your feminine side look like? What does your masculine side look like? Just take a few moments to just experience and see how you are right now, knowing that it's perfect, that it's okay. What does your feminine side look like? And what does your masculine side look like? And just notice from an observer standpoint, if there's anything going on, if you notice any cords, any dark energy, any stagnation in your body, just notice where it is and how it's showing up. And you can ask yourself in this mirror what it is that maybe you're hanging on to that is no longer serving you, that will help you step further into your light, further into who you are, letting go of any of those beliefs around who you are, what you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to act, what opinions you're allowed to have, any other things that maybe about how you're supposed to live your life. Just notice and see what this self has to say to bring you greater awareness and clarity. Now I want you to take a moment and I want you to spin clockwise one time. And when you do that, you'll see your highest level divine feminine. I want you to see this beautiful feminine side standing before you in this mirror. How is she different than who you are right now? What does she have to say? What does she want you to know? How does she show up? What is she feeling? Just take a moment and witness this beautiful divine part of yourself and see how she's different than the version of you right now. And now that you've witnessed this beautiful, magical, divine feminine side of you, I want you to now spin counterclockwise once. And when you look in the mirror, you'll see your highest divine male, this masculine essence of yourself that lives within you. How does this aspect of yourself show up? How do they look? What information do they want you to know about how you can incorporate this into your life now? How does it differ from the masculine side that you saw earlier? Just bear witness and see what this aspect wants you to know. I now want you to turn away from the mirror and walk towards the beautiful divine pool of water. I want you to slowly make your way in from the stairs. As you walk down the stairs, feeling this beautiful warm water, so relaxing and luxurious. And the water is just iridescent and filled with just magic. And as you submerge and begin floating on your back, I want you to just feel all of the expectations, all of the beliefs and blocks and cords to all that is no longer serving you on what you were supposed to do and who you were supposed to be. Letting all of these expectations from others, from society, from your ancestors, from your parents and siblings, from your spouse or partner, from past relationships, and letting all of this weight go and float down to the pool, bottom of the pool, being absorbed by Mother Gaia, taking this weight of expectations away. And see your beautiful sacral chakra. Feel it being filled up with this luminous light, this beautiful golden yellow light that just illuminates your womb, helping you to just heal all that needs to be healed. Your past, the shame, the guilt, the frustration, the anger, the lack of confidence and worthiness. Releasing all these beliefs that you've been carrying around with you for so long, the self-hatred, letting it all go, knowing that you are divine perfection. And as you release this, you see this beautiful golden light be absorbed and move throughout your entire body, going from your womb up into your heart and expanding out throughout your torso. This beautiful light expanding up your neck and across your arms, down to your fingertips, all the way down your legs, down to your toes, filling every cell, molecule, and atom of your body with this divine radiant light, clearing all cellular memory of these wounds, filling you up with this divine radiance, filling your head. You see this beautiful light just shining out of every pore, from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And you see this beautiful explosion of light radiating out 2 feet past your entire body. And it's magical. And you feel effervescent and just light and divine. And as you allow all the remaining remnants of the negativity, the beliefs, the blocks, the cords to float away, this is the divine you, who is fully expressed, who is fully in balance and harmony, both masculine and feminine. You are one. And as you slowly make your way back to the stairs, walking slowly out of this beautiful, magical pool of water, I want you to take a moment and just look in the mirror now. For this is you. This is the divine and fully expressed, authentic you. I want you to take a moment and see her. See who she is right now, because this is you. This is you without the bags, without the expectations of others. This is who you are. See how your masculine and feminine sides have merged together to create this singular, harmonious, and balanced expression of you. And when you're ready, you can step forward towards the staircase, knowing that this is who you are. This is who you can choose to be. You no longer need to live with these expectations and beliefs. You are free. You are perfect. You are whole. And you are divine. And as we begin to make our way back up the stairs, we'll start to come out of our meditation. You'll feel more and more grounded with every step we take, remembering your journey and knowing you can come back here whenever you need to. Whenever you need to see this beautiful divine self, you can always come back. 5, you take that first step, slowly beginning to feel your feet on the floor. 4, you feel your body in your chair. 3, you start to roll your shoulders, feeling more and more back into your body. 2, you rub your hands together. And 1, you open your eyes, wide awake. You can rub your hands and cover your eyes. That feels good to do. Okay. How's everybody doing? And I'm Jessica. I know that you're probably going to watch this on the replay, so thank you for turning this off and not doing a meditation while you're driving. Okay. So who wants to share? Did anybody see anything? Did anybody feel anything? Oh my gosh. Natalie, you did. Now I need to hear what it was. All right, let's hear it.
Well, I saw when we sort of did the turning to sort of look in the mirror for your feminine and masculine. Basically it was just this woman who was just felt so good in her body. She felt so confident and almost like kind of like doing this, it's always like trying to show that she just felt so confident and sexual, and it was just I am who I am, basically. The masculine one, I struggled a little bit. I didn't really
Wi-Fi. Oh, all right. I was hoping it was going to come back. All right. Trish, did you not fall asleep? Because I half expected you to fall asleep.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
It was a struggle. You know what, to be honest, I couldn't focus.
It's okay. It's all right.
I did feel light, like I did feel like lighter, like a release, but just to see anything, I was just
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. Again, I just ask because I'm just curious, right? And so apparently then there were 2. So
wow.
I know everybody's like popped off. That's okay. It's all right. Well, and if you do it again, I'm curious to know. So if you do at some
Yeah.
point do it again, like post it in the group. I'm curious to
Okay.
know. Just like with everything, right? It's like it's really about sort of that transformation that maybe you'll see at some point when you're
Yeah.
not so tired.
No, I definitely want to do it again.
All right. Well, I will post it later on in the member vault so you guys can do it at some point. But all right. Well, I know we're past our time, so I'm going to go. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you and everybody else who's watching this on the replay. Thank you. And if you have any questions, you know where to post them. But I hope you have a little more energy soon.
Thanks.
But give yourself some grace. It's okay. Right.
I'm going to lay down before I got to get the kids. So
I know. I hear you. All right. I will go let you do that. So, all right. Have a great afternoon. I'll talk to you later.
thanks, Michelle.
Bye. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.